Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2018. I'm joined by Oren from Mentor and from Siemens PLM. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Fascinating press conference last night, talking about kind of where those synergies start to add value and how you can start to connect the digital thread to much more of what's going in the process. Tell me a bit about how that's come about and how you've been able to leverage the meeting of minds between you and the Siemens organization.
Yeah, so I think Mentor has always been very strong in ECAD, electronics, PCB, but was not very strong in the mechanical side of the business. Siemens brings a lot of in-depth software in the mechanical side, as well as very strong assets like the PLM system, Teamcenter, as well as engineering, Teamcenter manufacturing, and a lot of the Technomatics product suite around simulation, robotic programming. Now, we see in the assembly lines, this is blaring. Robots are starting to appear everywhere. Automation is very important. We all want to reduce the cost of labor, and especially now as manufacturing is coming back to America, people understand if they want to bring the factories back from China and they want to make it in America, they need to automate. Automation is robotics, and without a comprehensive solution that can model these humans, robots, pick and place machines, it's going to be hard to do that. So Siemens is in a unique position now with this kind of portfolio to serve that, these kind of opportunities in this kind of market.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And we talk a lot about digital transformation and what's going on in the industry, but the digital thread that runs through everything. And it's important that that digital thread doesn't stop at any particular point. It has to travel through the entire supply chain, and as you say, the mechanical processes, the design processes. So you can start with data at one point, and that becomes the digital twin or the format throughout. That's really important, and that's something you gain as part of this merger.
Yes, so we're thinking here about the digital twin of the product, and here really we can kind of digitalize and really create the full copy of the product in a digital place. And this is, of course, run mostly by the CAD systems, but also, we have our Valor Parts library, which is this, library of about 30 million components with very exact geometric shapes, which allows us to really make a much more accurate representation of the product compared with what is coming from the CAD systems, because these CAD designers, they have very basic shapes. They don't really care about, where exactly the pins are. But if you want to do accurate simulation, you have to do that. Then we can also really define very nicely what is going to be the manufacturing process. And then we define the manufacturing equipment. And now we've really built a digital copy of all of this, and we can start doing a lot of offline simulation. And as we spoke yesterday, I see this lot size 1 as a big driver in the industry. I was at a big manufacturer of air conditioners in China, and they told me they need planning software, and I told them, why do you need planning software? I mean, you make one thing, it's an air conditioner and it's an ECU, and they said the average lot size is 80. Because every country wants a different air conditioner, and this distributor wants the button here, and this guy wants it here, this one wants this. So at the end of the day, they're a high-mix manufacturer, and they're struggling to change from 10 years ago or 5 years ago when they were making, batches of 20,000 ECUs. So they were also struggling. So everybody is moving into this very small lot sizes, and now you need to simulate much better what you're going to do, and you have to have your process in control. And if it's not working, you have to very quickly know that you don't have 100 boards to figure out, I'm doing okay, because you're only making 10 boards. So you have to acquire all of the data in real time, build this digital copy of the runtime information, and feed it back. And what I think Siemens gives us is Teamcenter as a real conduit to push this data back. And we can monitor this data now, and people can see, okay, this was my DFM report, this was my process, I was expecting this kind of quality, I'm getting much worse quality, okay, let's do an analysis, let's try to understand why this, let's improve this, and we can do this after maybe 2-3 boards and not wait for 100 boards.
Yeah, and you can do that offline simulation.
Yes.
So when we look at digital twin, we look at all these elements, we look at the digital thread, these are all the building blocks. And our job, or your job, is to add value on top of those. And that value is about improving the process, improving efficiency. Are we going to see more new products, more offerings coming in the coming months?
So obviously, yes. I think one of the things that we're going to be investing a lot is in our new analytics platform, this manufacturing analytics. The two challenges today is the huge amount of data, and we discussed it yesterday. Some pick and place machines now are outputting 50 parameters per placement, about the vacuum, the pressure, and this is becoming terabytes and terabytes of data. The standard SQL won't work. You really need a big system. And in order to really gain something, you need some reports around, correlation analysis, root cause analysis. You want to try to see with all of the environmental measurements that you're doing, humidity, temperature, how is that affecting? You want to try to see maybe you're putting too much paste and the reflow profile isn't matching. So you might see a lot of issues in functional tests, but the defect is occurring much earlier in the process. So if we gather all that data and we hand it to you now and somebody can sit there, I think we're going to see a lot more data scientists being hired by manufacturing, because once the data is there, now it's just about, doing the data analysis and trying to find out. So we're going to put a lot of effort in providing a very strong solution, and that once we gather the data, we can really show an ROI with some of this insight.
Yeah, and that's the important thing, isn't it? To get some data on it and not just talk about how we connect everything together. Oren, pleasure to see you, always good. Enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll talk again next time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.